Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our channel Jewish Psychology. We want to try to answer today one of the most bothering questions that bothers everyone in Israel, and I think also outside of Israel. The question is, how come that the Israeli intelligence services didn't know, didn't predict, couldn't see the picture, couldn't see the attack on October 7 on this Black Saturday of Simchat Torah? How they couldn't see it coming? How come their eyes were so closed despite the billions we spend in Israel on electronic equipment, despite defense that cost billions, we said, despite all the technology, the top technologies that they use in order to predict, to see, to analyze what the Hamas is doing beyond defense. How come they couldn't? It took time. The Hamas planned this attack for more than a year. How come they couldn't see all those warnings, all those signs that the Israeli army scouters told them or saw or watched beyond the fence? So how come everything that they saw, all the small details, didn't come at the end to a picture that told them, okay, something is going on, an attack is going to be launched, and we should be ready for that? How come their eyes were so blind? It's a question that bothers everyone. I don't want to get into now to the religious point of view. I want to try to understand the way that our intelligence works, the way they thought. And there are several point of views, several suggestions that Israelis, former army officers or Israeli officers in the present are suggesting. The most popular one is that the conception failed. What does it mean? They had a conception. So a conception is a point of view. The way the glances, the lenses through them they saw reality was that they believed, they had an optimistic belief that if they will give the Hamas more fuel, more work, more than 30,000 workers from Gaza Strip got into Israel. And I remind you, it started only 2 years ago, something like that, a year or 2 years ago. It started after more than 20 years. Gaza's worker couldn't get into Israel. And they believe that if Israeli money will get back into Gaza Strip, and they will have more opportunities, and they will have more opportunities to make money, to get more abundance, to see life differently, maybe they will prefer the trajectory of developing themselves as a nation more than a nation that wants to kill us and to want to always to be in an endless fight between Israelis and Arabs and Hamas movement. But still, and this concept, this conception fell down, collapses. But still, the fact that the conception collapses doesn't give us the clue or the answer to the question that we are asking for. The question is, how come they didn't see that the conception is about to collapse? How come they didn't see that their point of view, the way they analyze, the point of view from which they analyze reality is about to collapse? How come they didn't see it? And we are talking about the best men and women in Israel, the best of the best. They are and everything they care about is the security of Israel. I know some of the most prominent people workers in the intelligence services, and they are really the best. And if you heard about all kind of ideas that conspiracies, throw them out of the window. There were no conspiracy here to analyze. How come they were blind? They couldn't see what is going on. And in order to understand the answer that Jewish psychology brings to the table, we want to think a little bit I want to suggest something about what blocked me from creative thinking. Believe me, all those army officers and intelligence officers knows a lot about creativity. What is creativity? Usually they say creativity is your ability to have a fresh look on the obstacle that you are facing. But still, in real time, they couldn't adapt creative thinking. Why they couldn't adapt creative thinking? What is the most the hardest blockage that we have to creative thinking. In order to understand that, we have to penetrate it a little bit to the mind of our sages. They say one comparison is between Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai. There were two schools of knowledge, of learning in Jewish thought. One school was more stiff, more rigid, the school of Bet Shammai. The other one was the opposite, was more soft, the school of Bet Hillel. And the question that bothered our sages is why there were disciples that prefer the school of Bet Hillel over the school of Bet Shammai, and vice versa, the opposite. Why? Why do you prefer to learn things from, let me take it from another point of view. I think there is a connection, maybe a correlation between people that succeed in a paleo diet or keto diet to their achievement in life. Why? Because those people, I took you to another place in order to understand something. Those people that succeeded in keto diet, they are more stiff in their life. More, in order to say no to all the good things that you have to eat in life, and you succeed to narrow yourself only to eating meat, that means you have something in your personality that lets you be more conservative, more strict, more, breaking boundaries in a way. What do I try to say? Why do people prefer the school of knowledge, the school of learning, the school of understanding of Bet Shammai over Bet Hillel, and vice versa? Because something in their emotions pushes their mind, pushes their intelligence to think in that way. What do I try to say? I'm trying to say that there is an effect of the emotion on the mind. You usually think about mind that thinks in a logic way, but we have our emotions that influence our mind and change the way that we think, the way that we use our mind according to the influence of the emotions. What does it mean? If you are, let's take two examples. If you have more tendency to goodness, to charity, to see others, to believe in others, to be more optimistic, then there is more chances that you will be in Bet Hillel school. But if you are more rigid, more stiff, more you use to criticize others, then there are more chances that you go to Bet Shammai school. Why? Because you prefer this kind of way of thinking. What we are saying over here, we're saying that our national intelligence services adopted the Bet Hillel point of view, or more than that, they adopted the more optimistic. I won't say optimistic in the sense that they wanted to believe. They had grace in the personal, if there is a personality of intelligence bodies, there is a tendency to this personality, and the tendency was to be more graceful, to see the optimistic point of view. What do we mean? That they prefer to believe that there is something very, very good, very, very beautiful in thinking that the other wants to develop themselves, and you believe in the Hamas, and you believe in the Palestinian people, and you believe that they want to live next to us. There's something very beautiful in that, very graceful, very optimistic. And when your emotion control or navigate or influence your mindset, the way you understand things, that means the emotion is your blockage. And because it is your blockage, it interferes you from seeing other things. So what blocked them from seeing the October 7th? What blocked them was this emotion of grace. It's called in the Kabbalistic literature the right line. It's like your tendency is more to the right, more to be graceful person, more to give, more to see others, more to believe in other people. And if you have a tendency more to the left, it means that you are more, it's not the right and left that we are used to, more to the left in the sense that you don't really believe in people. You're more suspicious. You want to judge others. What does it mean, judge others? You want to see if what you are giving him he really deserves it. If he does not deserve it, there is no reason to give it to him. If he does not do the right steps, if he does not fulfill his role, don't give it to him. So if you have more tendency to the left line, as we said, the left line, that means, in our case, that means that you have more tendency to judge people, to see a pessimistic point of view, to adopt a pessimistic point of view, not to believe others until you really they really succeeded to show you that they show a chance, and to be more stiff, as we said, in adopting your point of view, like Bet Shammai did. That means sometimes there is a problem in this point of view. If you go to this tendency, you're losing opportunities. You will never be able to do peace, because you always see the other as an enemy. You will never believe in him. You will never give him the opportunity to change himself. And if you always look from the right perspective, from the Bet Hillel perspective, from the perspective that looks from the emotion that controls you, and tells you stories about people, imagine all the people, they are all together in love and peace and etc. And the truth is that the other side wants really to kill you. You won't be able to live. He will suffer from October 7th. You will suffer from blackness. So the result is what really needs in order to adopt creative thinking is the combinations of the emotions. In order to do this combination, you need to take out one, to extract one, the domination of one emotion that controls you. In order to have different point of view, you need to have different emotions in you, and to let all those emotions be together. And conception that felt, that means that one emotion controlled you. You believe from the emotion, you didn't believe from the mind, because your mind was captivated by the emotion. So in order to adopt creative thinking, according to Jewish psychology, you need to change, to unlock the dominance of one emotions in your point of view, and to let other emotions get into it. We're not talking about human emotions now, about the emotions of the body. What we say, if we could see the intelligence services as a body, and to understand it as a human body, that's what we mean. We mean that beyond the conception, there was emotions, one dominant emotions, the emotions of grace, the emotions that builds optimism. And in order to not to be closed in one point of view, and to open your mind, you need to change your emotions. Think about a battle. What closes you from seeing everything in the battlefield? What closes you? It's your emotion. If you are afraid, it blocks you. If you are believe in other people, it blocks you. So either way, it's left or right, blocks you. The only way to adopt creative thinking and to change and to see things that happens is to have to let those emotions be combined together, emerge together, that you have all kinds of emotions. This is real beauty. And you can take this point of view and analyze with it your own life. If you look at your child from a very stiff point of view, it says, our sage says, it's better not to be stiff like a reed, and you should be easy. You should be soft. You should be soft like a reed, and not stiff like a cedar. We say. Why? Because when you are too stiff, everything can break you. When you are soft, you see real reality, and you try to fit yourself to this reality. And this is what was needed to our service, to our intelligence services, and it's very hard, because you need now to say, okay, I do not believe in what I thought that this conception will work. I need to change my emotion. That means that now I am in a judgment style of emotion, very rigid, very stiff style of emotions, in order to see maybe there are holes in my point of view, in my conception. Through these conceptions, I see the reality, and I see what the Hamas is planning. So in your own life, if you are too soft, that means you're not ready to things that are about to happen. Your child needs you, and if you're too stiff, you cannot see your child. You cannot see that he's changing his place. You are losing opportunities. So you cannot be in only one emotions that control you, that control your point of view. So if you are concluding, our point of view is being really dominant or being pushed by our emotions. So there is a connection between our emotion and our logic. Logic does not stand by its own. If I love something, I see it in a different eye. If I do not love something, it's very hard for me to understand it. It's very hard for me to really penetrate into its mind. So it's not all about the emotion. It's a lot about the emotions that influence my mindset and the way I see things. And when you think about a nation, when you think about intelligence services, they also have their dominance of emotions that control the way they see their reality. Okay, Jewish Psychology, you're more than welcome to join us in this channel. See you in the next contemplation, next Jewish Psychology episode.